Do you want to move your life forward in the most positive way using astrology? Then let's talk about the astrological patterns for December 2021. The first 3 weeks of the month, of course, the sun is transiting Sagittarius. So during Sagittarius season, we all need to be mindful of the pursuit of truth. And I want to spend just a moment talking about the shadow side and the most positive side of the Sagittarius expression, because this is going to be very dynamic this month. The positive side of Sagittarius is the opportunity to understand that truth comes in many versions. We all have a different perspective and a different way we see truth. And that's a beautiful thing. That's the freedom of the Sagittarius energy ruled by Jupiter. But the shadow side of Sagittarius can be locking into very strong opinions and a sanctimonious attitude. This is something always to be aware of. It can be dogmatic. And we all know that sometimes certain religions or certain belief systems can flow in that direction. There's a beautiful side to all religions, but there's also that possibility to slip into dogma and rigidity and sanctimony. Now, we need to be careful about that this month in particular because of the very dynamic aspects from the planets. We begin the month with Neptune ending the retrograde phase at the very first day of the month. And as it ends the retrograde phase and begins direct motion, we get beautiful seeds of grace being released into consciousness. It is so nice because it's unconditionally loving, it's flowing, it's faith, it's trust, and it really is grace. See that word in capital letters in your mind and feel what grace is, because I can't put a definition to it. Let grace flow through your idea of truth, because when you do that, it shifts to lovingness instead of rigidity. And we know there's so much polarization going on right now. Grace helps to elevate the energy above polarization and intensity and anger, and helps us to soften it. I think we need that right now. On December 4th, we have a very important new moon in Sagittarius, which is also an eclipse. Now, I'm going to speak more about this in depth in my new moon video, so I invite you to go there to get more information. But let's just say the eclipse on December 4th sets up the rest of the month and our attitude about how willing we are to accept other people's viewpoints, how willing we are to explore things and to have our own version of truth may be challenged. After the new moon in Sagittarius, we get to a very important part of December on the 13th, when we have Mars entering Sagittarius. So when Mars enters that sign, it's going to energize whatever you started to ponder at that new moon about your ability to listen to other people's viewpoints, your ability to listen from different perspectives, and to soften the intensity of opinion. Also on that very same day, December 13th, Mercury enters Capricorn. When any planet is at 0 degree of a cardinal sign, that's called the Aries point. Even though it's not in the sign Aries, it's still called the Aries point, which means it's a world stage sort of energy, high visibility. Now for the world, that suggests in the middle part of December, we're going to be getting some sort of news. And it's probably going to be about the treatment of COVID. We have Venus in Capricorn getting ready to turn retrograde. Now that's going to happen on December 19th. And Venus has been traveling with Pluto. And as Venus and Pluto travel together, I've been mentioning this in my past videos, and I'm going to talk more about it in depth in my newsletter. I hope you have subscribed. You can do that on my website. But that Venus-Pluto conjunction, which really began in November and is going to go all the way until March, gets hot in December. Really blistering hot. And what that is doing is agitating the treatment for the virus, agitating our views about it, and hopefully advancing everything. So this starts to get super energized in the middle part of December, and then around Christmas, it's really hot. So I advise at Christmas, the sun has already entered Capricorn at that time. Venus and Pluto are working hard and heavy together, and we have Saturn and Uranus squaring each other. Christmas, engage your core values. Find out what is really meaningful to you on the most basic intrinsic level that goes beyond commercialism, obviously. It goes beyond needing to have approval from other people or needing to look a certain way, and get into your core intrinsic unconditional love for self and others, because Christmas is going to take you a step deeper. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, even if whatever viewpoint you have has nothing to do with Christmas, that time frame right around December 24th and 5th is really an opportunity to grow. And it starts with grace. That starts in the early part of the month, and it travels into that time right around the Christmas holiday. And then just one last thing for the month of December. On the 29th, just before we hit New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Jupiter enters Pisces again. It had retrograded back into Aquarius to finish the transit through that sign. Well, on December 29th, it enters Pisces, and Jupiter's very strong in that sign. It's grace again, it's unconditional love, it's flow, and it's going to be transiting through that sign in January and beyond, and I'll talk about that in some future videos. So to summarize the astrological patterns for December, we begin the month with Neptune going direct, seeds of grace, little spores of grace flowing everywhere, and unconditional love. Accept them, let them fill you. December 4th is that new moon in Sagittarius, which is also an eclipse, which is going to challenge us all to go to a higher level of accepting that not everybody sees truth in the same way. Middle of the month, when Mars enters Sagittarius and Mercury enters Capricorn, we have this moment of realization for everything that the eclipse on the 4th was trying to bring about. It's a world stage moment, it's an awareness, it's new ideas and information coming up to the surface. Then remember, around December 24th and 5th, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it is a very sacred time with a lot of planetary intensity, and you can elevate that into the most beautiful energy pattern, but you're going to need to be mindful. And then on December 29th, when Jupiter enters Pisces, so much love starts to flow, so much softness. Again, grace enters our cells. How nice is that, right? And it's also enormous creativity. So I wish you a beautiful holiday season as we get ready to complete 2021 and enter 2022. And I wish you good health. Keep your happiness up, because that supports your immune system, obviously, and we all want to be healthy. Thank you. I'm Kathy Rose.